So what if your state 911 coordinator called and told you that the brand new state ESInet is nearing completion and the handoff for your DMARC will be installed in the coming weeks? And what if I also told you that the weak point in that NG911 environment might just be everything that's on your side of the DMARC? Oh, and what if I told you on top of that the answer is not going to be another expensive dedicated circuit with a fancy NG911 label and bigger invoice? You're probably going to be a little happy and a little worried all at the same time. Well, that's coming up next on TiPS, Today in Public Safety.
Welcome to TiPS, Today in Public Safety, your go-to podcast for today's breaking stories and public safety news. Here's your host, Fletch, with today's tips.
Welcome to TiPS, Today in Public Safety. This is Fletch. I'm a certified NENA ENP. And every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday each week, I try to bring you the latest news and information about public safety and next generation 911 services and solutions. Today we're going to be talking about why SD-WAN may be the next network architecture that your PSAP actually needs. So let's set the table. There are a lot of states that are building NG911 networks, and all of these networks are moving toward the NENA i3 framework. They're building their ESInets. They are improving the state-level side of resilience, redundancy, and reliability. And this is all good news. But here's the part that I think doesn't get talked about enough. You see, the state network usually gets you to a handoff point, a demarcation point, the network edge of the ESInet. You know, here you go, local agency, try not to break anything point. But from there on out, the problem is all yours. And what that means is the local PSAP, the county ECC, the municipalities, or the multi-jurisdictional center has ownership to what happens across the local wide area network. And in a lot of places outside the especially large metro areas, that network has probably been built over time with a lot of good intentions and even more workarounds. Probably it's got its share of duct tape and at least one circuit in the back room that nobody wants to touch because the last guy who understood it retired 3 administrations ago. And that's where SD-WAN, software-defined wide area networks, enter the conversation. Explaining the problem. Look, the problem's not that agencies don't care about resiliency. The problem is that for years, resiliency was often treated like a physical thing. Because it was. Need separation? Buy another circuit. Need backup? Buy another provider. Need more reliability? Buy a special private connection with a special name and a special bill. You know, one that makes your finance department break out in hives. That used to make sense because that was the only way that you could do it. But today the modern problem is much more complicated than that. Public safety traffic is no longer just voice on one pipe and everything else on something else. Now we've got call handling traffic, CAD traffic, GIS data, logging, video, text, maps, alerts, remote administration, as well as mobile units, backup sites, cloud services, and sometimes one random software platform that seems to think it deserves the entire network because it saw a PDF once. No, not all traffic is equal. Sorry. A 911 call path, call delivery signaling, or real-time CAD updates shouldn't be fighting for space with software patches, YouTube training videos. Sorry, Kristen. Or somebody uploading 27 body cam files all at once because apparently later was not an option. And here's the real issue. Many local networks still depend too heavily on individual circuits and fixed assumptions. If that one primary path gets congested, degrades, or fails, you're suddenly discovering your backup plan was less resilient architecture and more strongly worded hope. And that's why the old model starts to crack. Because the WAN supporting the PSAP has got to do much more than just exist. Now it's got to start making smart decisions. So think of it like this. If your network is a highway system, older designs often act like every vehicle gets shoved into the same set of lanes, and then we all act surprised when an ambulance gets stuck behind a cement truck. And that guy towing a fishing boat. No, SD-WAN says no. The traffic needs to be identified, prioritized, steered, shifted, and even bonded across multiple paths, all based on what it is, how urgent it is, and what route is performing the best at this particular point in time. Yeah, that's a much smarter way to move critical traffic. The remedy. So how do we fix this? What's the remedy look like? Well, SD-WAN, or software-defined wide area network, provides you with the ability to use multiple transport types altogether and manage them intelligently. Not just cable, not just fiber, not just MPLS or cellular or satellite for that matter, but potentially all of them in the combinations that make sense for the overall mission. And this is the part that people need to understand well. This is much more than just a fancy virtual LAN with a much nicer haircut. No, a VLAN separates traffic inside of a network segment. Software-defined WAN makes decisions across wide area network paths. It looks at performance, latency, packet loss, jitter, availability, and policy. And then it decides where traffic should go based on what that traffic is. For example, imagine a countywide PSAP with fiber as its primary path, broadband cable as its secondary path, and a cellular link as its tertiary option. Real-time call handling can ride the best performing route, no matter what it is. GIS map refreshes and critical location data can stay high priority. That administrative traffic can move to a lower priority path, and software updates get pushed off to a slower transport without having to step on operational traffic, no matter what time of day it is. Even better, a lot of SD-WAN environments can actually bond or link together multiple links, so instead of treating every path as a single all-or-nothing choice, the network's able to combine available bandwidth and create much more stability across diverse routes. That lets one application use primarily the most reliable path, while less sensitive traffic rides alongside it on another route. During a spike, a network can pull strength from multiple transports instead of falling over dramatically like a folding chair at a family barbecue. And that brings up the whole point of mobile command posts. You see, back in the old days, setting up the field operation often meant dragging in specialized connectivity, dedicated temporary services, and a whole lot of crossed fingers, as well as a good parking spot. If you know, you know. But with modern SD-WAN approaches, a mobile command unit can use a mix of cellular, wireless, broadband, and even the new satellite backhauls that employ traffic policies deciding what matters most and how that traffic gets back to the core network and ultimately to the ESInet itself. Just that in itself is huge, because resilience is no longer only about the building. It's also about the ability to move operations when the building is the problem. And yeah, there's a cost story here as well. You see, agencies can often reduce dependency on multiple highly specialized point-to-point circuits by using those diverse commercial services much more intelligently. Now, that doesn't mean cheap out on public safety. It means spend your money smarter. Use the inherent diversity you can get across providers as well as media types. Build your policy around performance, not just availability. And that lets you get more value from the paths that you already can buy in the real world. Now, the goal here is not to be reckless. The goal is to stop assuming that expensive and dedicated automatically means the best. Cool, so what do I do about all this? Well, here's the call to action. If you're a PSAP leader, county administrator, IT director, or public safety technologist, start looking beyond the state demarcation point and ask a simple question. Do we actually understand how traffic moves on our side of the demarc across our WAN under normal conditions? Then look at degraded conditions. And finally, failure conditions. But don't look in the sales brochure. Don't look on the whiteboard. And don't rely on, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how it works. What you need to do is map your applications. Classify your critical traffic, because identifying what's mission critical, what's important operationally, and what can wait lets you decide whether your current network architecture is just connected or truly resilient and reliable, because there's a huge flippin' difference. Oh, and by the way, if software-defined wide area networks weren't already part of that conversation, big red flag, because it really needs to be. Reality check. Here's the reality check in all this. We need to do this because NG911 resilience doesn't stop at the ESInet edge. If the local wide area network beyond that RJ45 handoff can't intelligently protect and prioritize critical traffic, then all that resilience in the state core is not going to save your bacon from preventable failures on your side of the handoff. The bottom line in all this is this. If we don't modernize how local public safety networks use diversity, prioritization, and path intelligence, we're going to keep building advanced NG911 environments that hand off into legacy networks and their thinking. And I got to be honest with you, if we're going to do that and let that happen, the probable result is very predictable. The same bottlenecks, the same fragile failovers, the same unnecessary costs, as well as the same operational risk and more moments when a system looks resilient on paper right up to the moment somebody actually needs it. I think public safety deserves better than that. That wraps up this episode of TiPS Today in Public Safety. I hope the podcast taught you something a little different and that you learned something new. If it did, be sure to drop a like, subscribe, and be sure to tell your friends. This is Fletch. Thanks so much for listening, and remember, if you're in public safety, thanks for what you do every single day. We'll catch you next time. Take care. Hey, it's Fletch. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you learned something new. Remember to catch all of my previous episodes of TiPS Today in Public Safety, published every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on most social media platforms and streaming 24/7 at 911tips.com. My blogs are located at fletch.tv and my personal website is at fletch911.com. Remember to like and subscribe. It really helps out the algorithms. And if you're in public safety, thanks for what you do every single day. We'll catch you next time. Take care.
You've been listening to TiPS Today in Public Safety, your go-to podcast for today's breaking stories and public safety news. Hosted by Fletch and available every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Catch past episodes on 911tips.com. Be sure to like and subscribe, and remember to join us each week for the latest on NG911. I am Spider Harrison, the official 911 voiceover dude. Catch me on Sirius XM on various channels, including 90s on 9, the 10 spot, and on the Weekend Countdown on Hits 1. Or don't regret it for the rest of your life. Either way, I'm good.